Welcome to the Lumber Dimension. I'm Pastor Evans.
I'm Mrs. Evans.
Today we're talking about premarital counseling, finances. Money. Do your part, woman.
Quote for today is from Focus on the Family. Surviving the for rich, for poor part of our wedding vows begins with understanding that God has a plan for our finances. In fact, understanding God's minimum requirements for money is a way to thrive in your married life as we avoid some of the difficulties that can take place over the course of a marriage. Rather than seeing the goal of a new marriage as the accumulation of things, couples need to build a strong team relationship and seek God first. Jesus talked about the desire to accumulate things and about worries over money. In Matthew 6:33, he advised, seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things will be added to you.
Amen. So, do we have a question today, wife?
Yes. How important is money to you, and what role do finances play in your marriage, or what role do you want finances to play in your marriage?
Right. Listen. Well, first of all, I want to say at this point, remember that these are premarital care things, but you don't have to be getting ready to get married to do it. So, it's for single folks too. But here's the deal. Money is important.
It is.
There's nothing wrong with admitting that money is important.
Right.
I think that the folks that say it's not are I don't want to say delusional. That's not fair to say.
Okay.
But you need money to do things.
Right.
Right? The issue comes in is when you love money. Because the Bible doesn't tell you that money is the root of all evil. It says, a lot of people think that. What the Bible does say is that the love of money is the root of all evil. So money is important. You need to buy things. You need to buy gas. You need to buy groceries. You're not going to get them because you're cute.
Right.
It's just not going to happen.
Right.
Right?
I mean, you might.
You might.
You might.
But somebody had to pay for it. Like even if you get stuff because you're cute, because
Right.
you are. Right. But somebody had to pay for it.
Right. And there had to be an exchange.
Right. It had to be some type of exchange. So money is important. It's just not more important than other things.
Right.
It's important because you need it to purchase what you need to purchase.
Right. What role does it play in our marriage?
Finances in our marriage. I think that because I am not the financial mind in the family, for me, in my opinion, it's a matter of making sure that I'm following the guidelines that we decided to go to put on our marriage as far as finances.
Right.
I think you'll be able to speak more about the role of finances in our marriage because you do the planning for that. And I'm okay with it because I wasn't very good before her.
Right. So, how important is money to me? Money has its place.
Right.
Because I like to eat, and I like having somewhere to live, and I like soap and water.
Soap and water?
I do.
You do need soap and water.
Right.
Not you. I mean, we do need soap and water.
I like soap and water. I
Right.
like to wash.
Right.
I like to wash clothes,
Right.
bodies,
Right.
dishes.
Right.
I like to wash.
Right.
Okay, so it has its place, and that place is important.
Right.
Is it the most important thing to me? No, it's not, because you can't buy love.
Right.
You can't buy a relationship with Christ.
Right.
So is it the most important? No, but is it up there? Of course it is. Okay. Okay. So what role do finances play in our marriage? I think in our marriage, we have come to an agreement on how we should manage our money, which the primary money manager. But the first thing is you got to have money to manage. No money, then there's no financial plan. So money,
right.
Important, check.
Right.
And once you have that, then you have to have some type of money management. Am I the best money manager? No, I'm not. I'm not the best money manager. Have I learned a lot about managing money over time? Yes. Have I learned enough for us to be in a great place? No. Are we okay? Yes.
Pretty good.
We're okay.
Yeah.
We have to be careful about what we spend. We have to agree upon what we're going to spend. We don't really spend too much without having conversations.
Right.
We haven't really put a limit or a max on the amount of money we spend without conversation, because we pretty much communicate pretty well.
Right.
That I don't think you feel emasculated.
No.
When you just want to do something simple, because we talk about everything.
Right.
So our communication is good.
I think, and because you said it like that, it made me think about the fact that I think a lot of times people have, like, I don't remember ever having an argument or conflict about money.
No.
Over the time that we've been together, because I think we decided early on that, we were going to make these decisions together.
Right. But we've never been in a position where our expenses were larger than our income.
No.
Now, there were times where our expenses and we didn't have any money coming in, but not because the potential for the money to come in was smaller than our expenses. It was just because we weren't
getting paid.
Right.
It was a time
right.
where we were working and
every
not
day.
getting paid. We
right.
work every day, didn't get paid, but we were getting, we were making.
They were doing their best. God was providing for us.
Amen. Yeah.
And so there weren't. But we didn't have a lot of expenses. Our expenses were very low.
Right.
And so we were. God maintained us. We were able to make it.
Right.
And because money wasn't the most important thing in our marriage.
Right.
There were fewer opportunities for conflict. So, husband, what's coming up for us this summer?
This summer, I'm excited about doing something a little new, a little different. One of the things that my wife and I do to continue to encourage each other to grow in the Lord is do some devotionals together. It's a time and a chance for us to engage in the Word in a way that's specifically about us and specifically about growing our relationship with God and with each other. So
we're going to try these things live.
Right. Should be fun. Hopefully you can join us.
Why is this session important?
Why is this session important? So, money issues for most folks are the most contentious in some people's marriages.
Right.
Right? A few scriptures. Psalm 24:1 says that the earth is the Lord's and everything in it is. That just gives you a little bit of perspective. Like once you understand that you don't really own anything, I think this is important. You don't really own anything. You may have finances, you may have riches, but once you pass, you can't take it with you.
Right.
We just borrow stuff while we're here. So the earth is the Lord's and everything in it is His. Right? And then Luke 21:1-4 tells a story about the widow's mite and how she prioritized giving over the fact that she didn't have very much. So just having that kind of understanding about what having wealth or having money is really more about being able to give. Right? Being blessed to be a blessing. And then finally in Romans 13:8, it says, "Owe no man but to love him." I hear pay your debts. Right? I remember before we got married and I was paying bills, I would pay like if the bill was $300 and I had $600, I would pay as much as I needed to pay to keep going so that I can keep money in my pocket. Problem is that money kept building.
Right.
But if you have the ability to pay off your bills, and if you have the ability to pay off your debts, you can be in a much better place.
Or you have the ability to pay the maximum payment, not the minimum payment.
Right. It relieves so much stress. I remember when we first started doing it, I was like, why would you pay the whole bill? You don't have to pay that. But now, 20 years later, I feel so much less stress and anxiety because our bills are paid. I don't have to worry about making that up next month.
Or late payments.
Oh yeah. Oh, I was familiar with late payments. Me and late payments were buddies.
Right.
So it helps.
Right.
Yeah.
It does help. So I think that's a good segue to the purpose for money.
Right.
Okay. And so, what is money? Money serves as a medium of exchange, as a store of value, and as a unit of account. Okay. And so, what is money that serves as a medium of exchange? It's an exchanging of something for something else. Okay, so that's what the medium of exchange is.
Right.
It's an exchange for something else. And many years ago, there was the bartering system. I give you something I have that you want, and I take something from you that I want. Right. And so that's one of the purposes for money, to be a medium of exchange. The second thing is to be a store of value. In order to be a medium of exchange, money must hold its value over time.
Right.
Okay, so that's another purpose for money, is to have something that holds its value over time. And we see a lot of different things because there's different currency around the world.
Right.
But for the most part, money holds its value.
Right.
Okay, and then the third thing is money serves as a unit of account. And that is, money also functions as a unit of account, providing a common measure of the value of goods and services being exchanged. So you have to know how much you're paying for something.
Right.
Okay, so it's a unit of account. And the reason why I wanted to go over that is because in marriage, you need to have an idea, if you didn't come into the marriage with this understanding of what the purpose of money is.
Right.
Because if you can have an idea of what the purpose of money is, then that can alleviate a lot of conflict. And it can help build more effective communication. Okay? Because if you know that money is just a means to an end, like we're going to bring this amount of money in because we want to have this lifestyle, then you know that it's only one thing being exchanged for something else.
Right.
And then it doesn't become master over your life. Right? A store of value. If you have an understanding that money is something that you can use to put up for later use, then maybe you don't have conflict with saving.
Right.
Okay? Maybe you have a better understanding about the value of money and what it will be valued in the future, or the devaluing of money and how much more you have to save. And so that's why it's important to know that purpose. And then the next one is unit of account. And why is that important? It's important that you know, or that both spouses have an understanding of what something costs, right? Because like, take for example a house. If we know that money is an exchange, and we know that money holds its value, and potentially an investment as something can, you can earn more money with an investment, then maybe you don't buy that $1 million house because you understand that the house is valued at a specific amount now. And then depending on what the purpose is for that home, whether you're buying it as a rental property or as your forever home, the way our kids call it, then you might want to buy a house that costs less in an upcoming neighborhood, so that by the time you're ready to retire, it could be worth more money.
Right.
And so it's important that you understand the purpose of money so that it does not become master over your life.
Right.
You don't want to spend your whole life chasing it.
Right. And when we're having the conversation, getting ready for this session, when we're going through that, well, first of all, y'all see what I'm talking about with my wife. See how she broke that down for you. Anyway, so most of the time when we have, not we, but when couples have conflict over money, they're not arguing about money.
Right.
Because as you just broke down, money is just these things.
Right.
It's a unit of exchange, a store of value, and a unit of account or medium of exchange, right? So nobody's having arguments about, and unless you're both financial managers,
right?
You're not as a couple having an argument about the store of value. You're having an argument about the fact that he bought the $400 Jordans,
right?
When you needed something else,
right? Because so you don't understand you didn't understand the unit of account. You didn't understand the value,
right?
Because you're putting. You're not putting a monetary value on them Jordans.
Right.
You're putting what your personal feelings and thoughts are on that.
Right. And those personal feelings and thoughts for your spouse may be unimportant.
Right.
So you're not arguing over the money.
Right.
You're arguing over the concept of you put something ahead that was attached to money. Right. Or you valued something, or you valued something so much that you used money that we could have used for something that I deem more valuable.
Right.
And now I don't feel like I'm being respected or heard.
Or our family is being respected or heard.
Our family's been respected or heard or taken into account. All right. So what should you expect in this session? Right? Mm-hmm. So when we're talking about a premarital counseling session on finances, or if you're having a conversation about finances, you should cover at least these things. Mm-hmm. First and foremost, discuss financial management principles, right? So you need to have someone that can go through these things with you, that can help you discuss just kind of like what my wife just went through, just financial management principles, okay? Right. Secondly, explore financial ideas and priorities. That could be huge, to have the conversation about what I think, or what the one person thinks about what we want to do with the money, and then how you prioritize money.
Right.
Like like I said, when we came into our marriage, I wasn't prioritizing paying off my monthly bills.
Right.
But because of that, we're in a better financial situation now.
Plus, we talked to a couple some time ago, and we talked to the husband of the couple, and he was like, when I met my wife, she would dress up and look so great. Right. And then when we got married, I didn't realize I was gonna have to be the one to pay for all the great.
Right.
And all the dressing up.
Right. Yeah, you gotta have and this is why you had these conversations.
Right.
Though, right. So you figure out like how much is being spent, how we're gonna prioritize that.
Right.
And where we might need to compromise, because if one partner has an issue with it, and you feel like this is your life partner, this is your spouse, you're going to have to figure out how to make that work.
And figure out what the expectations were. Yeah. Because it wasn't that the wife didn't work. It was that now that the wife was married, she felt like her husband should buy her these fancy things.
Right.
That was her expectation.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's important to find that stuff out. You got to have these conversations. And then finally, have a serious conversation about the household budget. First of all, have a budget.
Right.
And then have a serious conversation about what goes on the budget, how do you put things on the budget, and how things come off.
Right.
Yeah, it's going to be important.
Right. That way you don't walk around the house going, you guys are using up my electricity.
Right. Electricity.
That's what I say.
Right.
Because they won't turn the lights off ever.
All right. So we're going to end with some things to consider.
Okay.
All right. So mine is, money itself is not evil.
Right. Say that again.
Money itself is not evil.
Right.
It's loving money that puts you in a bad position. You'll always get in trouble if the money is what you love.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
That's mine.
Right. And so mine is, please remember that money is just a medium of exchange. If you're fighting about money, you need to take a step back and then figure out what you're really fighting about.
Right.
Okay?
Yeah, because you're probably not fighting about money.
No, you're probably not fighting about money. I couldn't say it enough times. If you're fighting about money, take a step back, re-examine the situation. Well, did we have a good episode?
I think this was a good episode. If you thought it was a good episode, I'm going to encourage you to like it here, right there, and then subscribe to the channel and share it so someone else can get this good information.
Right.
Right.
Okay.
Yep.
See you next time.